Huh. Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, Imani.
Hi.
Should we intro ourselves? Do you want to?
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I can start.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. My full name is Traci Kato-Kiriyama. My pronouns are they and she. You can call me Trey. You can call me TKK. Whatever rolls off the tongue. You can call me Tracy. Whatever feels right. I am a resident on Tongva land. I live in what's called the South Bay or Gardena, South Bay of Los Angeles County. Third generation Los Angeleno, born to Japanese-American parents and a child and a grandchild of folks who were all the ones who were here in the States. They were all put into American concentration camps during World War II. And that's like a big, I think, basis for who I am and what I do. And in terms of what I do, I work in various areas of art, collaborative work, ensemble work, a lot of work based in theater, a lot of work based on the page, in the literary arts, in poetry and silly songs and essays and things like that. And I'm very, very, very heavily steeped in my work as an artist organizer. And to me, it's all sort of enmeshed. But certainly I work with a few groups in particular, Nikkei Progressives, Tuesday Night Project, and Vigilant Love. Those are various organizations based in Los Angeles doing a lot of solidarity work, a lot of arts and culture work, a lot of bridge building, community building work. That's sort of the nutshell. I'll pass it to you.
That's incredible. It's incredible. So I am first generation Californian in my family. My parents are both from the East Coast, and they met when they were very young here in LA. And my mother's from a small town in Pennsylvania called Bristol, Pennsylvania, which is a stop on the Underground Railroad, which is particularly significant because Harriet Tubman is one of our ancestors. I'm a descendant of hers. And then my father is from the East Coast as well. So he grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, where I've heard people say is the most racist place in the country. I've heard. I don't know. It seems I believe them. Let's say that. Let's see. I grew up on the west side of LA, which I believe also is Tongva land, which is where I am living now on the west side of Los Angeles County. And I am a poet. I call myself a poet, an educator, and an artist. I've been writing ever since I was a small child, sort of diary entries in my Snoopy journal. Did you? No.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
I love Snoopy so much. Like
me too. Me too. You know what's so funny? I've never said that aloud before, but I just thought like, I feel like I want to share that it was Snoopy, and it was rainbow and had like rainbow on it as well. I'm sure. So my poems started out, and they still are. I mean, they're very narrative, and sometimes they would kind of veer off into sort of stories, sort of fantasies, things I wish I could do or wish I could say, I'm sure. And that's me. And yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I did get a chance to read through some of your website, which has so much great content. And information. And so that actually leads to my sort of two-parter intertwined question that I found, while looking through bits and pieces of your website. So I'm going to read from something that you said in an
Okay.
interview. And then I have a question about a piece of your artwork. So this is from the Los Angeles Review of Books. You had an interview, and towards the end, you were saying, you were speaking about your poem about hands.
Mm.
And you were saying, when I come back to the hands, it's about having faith in ourselves to shape ourselves and knowing you'll find community, that you'll find your tribe, and that you can trust the journey of your own hands, that you can trust the love that lives within you. And the more you do that, the more you will find your home. Really, really appreciated that. And as I was looking at your art, which I know you're just showing just a few pieces, I'm wondering if there's like some way for you to respond to what I just read of what you said, combined with this,
Oh,
just so that
yeah.
everybody can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So thank you. That's a really beautiful question. So that piece is, that's about, that's a word weaving. I don't know what to call it, piece that I didn't discover it certainly, but I was trying to, I was asked to lead a workshop, an art and also poetry workshop this year. And I thought, well, I could do something really simple, but then I thought, no, I want to do something that's accessible. And so originally it was just about weaving pieces of paper vertically and horizontally. But for me, the most exciting work is that which incorporates text always. And so to lead the students, those who are attending the workshop, to help them feel more free in the writing component portion of the writing of the exercise. Because first I led them through a writing exercise. And then I told them basically they could destroy the poem by cutting it vertically, or they could preserve lines and cut them horizontally. So what I was trying to express was, you can make this a piece where you kind of hide the words, but you know what you wrote, you know what the intention is of what you were capturing with your poem that you wrote. So you can hang it publicly. Like I was imagining someone lives at home or is at work and they could, or, like back when I had an office job that I could just pop it on my wall and no one would know what it said, but I would know what it said. And I think I really resonated with the photograph too, the model, the figure, because there's a kind of not showing completely. Just like there's not, you don't see all of their face, you can't really make them out. And I also like that I didn't completely tear the strips off from each other. Like I didn't cut everything into strips. I sort of halfway tore it and thought, wonder what that feels like. What is that experience? And then what is it like to adorn something that you're also hiding? Which is, I think, kind of what I was talking about too in my response to that question. So as someone who's like always learning how to draw hands, because they are fascinating to me, they're among the most fascinating parts of our body. And I think just the way they anchor us, like when I'm doing yoga and I anchor myself, or I'm opening something, or I'm expressing something, the ways in which they just do things that other parts of our bodies cannot do. And I don't think I started to appreciate them this much until I tried so desperately to draw them in all these different shapes and configurations. So I definitely am I feel, even though I've had a lot of trauma in my life as a young person, I would like to think that trauma did not shape me. It influenced me, certainly, but my hands, my intention made me, I
Mm,
like to say. I hope that's true. It has to be true because the way that I am is so different than how I was when I was being shaped by the intentions of other people's hands, certainly. So I guess I believe does that connect it with the
oh my
piece?
God. Yeah. And
Okay.
then some. And, anybody tuning in to this, please imanitolliver.com, like just to check out the artwork. You know, I don't want to even try to describe it. I think people should just go onto your website and look and take it in,
Oh, thank you.
and see what
Thank
comes
you.
to your eyes. Is beautiful. It's awesome.
Thank you. That's so generous of you. Oh, wow. So I have a question for you. Um, all right. So I want you to imagine that you are in a room with everyone you've ever known,
Oof.
everyone you've ever known.
Oh man.
So I want you to visualize what that looks like, and then what I want you to identify is think of the one person. If there's one person that you could speak with,
Mm.
imagine, visualize that one person. And if you feel comfortable telling me,
Hmm.
us, what would you say to that person?
Woof. Oh my gosh. So I am a waterworks person. It just comes out. I never apologize for this.
Me too. I'm in the same group.
Great,
Me too.
great,
Go ahead.
great, great. Um, you know, I love that question. I traveled through so many rooms so quickly and ended up at Senshin Buddhist Temple, um, which is in South Central. And I don't know if you've been there, but if you haven't, I'm going to invite you right now when things come back to Obon. They are
Yes.
the first of the season in July.
Okay.
Or it's either the end
Yes.
of June or beginning of July. And Obon is a festival where we gather and we dance in a circle. And they're really concentric circles because there's so many people. You have to have many
Mm,
circles. We dance in a circle to our ancestors.
mm,
And I love to take folks who have not been to Obon because it's not just a Buddhist thing. It's not just a Jodo Shinshu or Japanese-American Buddhist thing. I think it's a real LA.
mhm.
There are Obons everywhere, all over, but LA and Orange County, I mean, it's like every weekend, multiple places for like a month and a half.
Oh,
And
I would love that. I
yeah,
would love that. I've never been. Yes.
so so I ended up there in the auditorium where people end up at the end of the night of Senshin's Obon. Theirs is very different from everybody's because you really travel together like this huge tribe. A lot of times it's like a carnival, there's games. This is how people raise money for their temples. And that's great. It's fun. There's bingo. But Senshin is really different in that everyone dances together and then you go into the temple together to offer incense. You come out of the front side of the temple and there are 1,000 oil lanterns. You light one in remembrance of someone who has passed in the past year or any ancestor. And then you go into the social hall together. Um, and so the social hall is the room I'm imagining. And then there are taiko players, and
Mm.
everybody eats cold noodles and watches the taiko.
Oh,
So I imagine that room, and I imagine my dad. Summertime to me is an elegy
mm,
for my father because June is Father's Day, July 9 was his birthday, and August 16th is his anniversary of death. So to me, summer has become an elegy of my father. And so in the midst of summer, and you ask this question, although probably any point in the year, even though losing so many people, I do definitely think of my father. And then you asked, what would I say to him?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Or what would you ask?
I would want to introduce him to my partner, Joyce. I just think he would absolutely love her. And I think, so in a book that I'm working on right now, it's coming out later this year, I have a piece in there that that talks about this, that you know, I think I came out more formally into a relationship very shortly after he passed, and I remember many people saying that they thought it was a good idea that I never came out to him, that he wouldn't have understood, or he wouldn't have approved, or his generation, this overgeneralization of his generation.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just really think at the end of the day, my dad wanted me to be okay. And Joyce, my partner, is someone who, when you meet Joyce, you will feel it right away that things are good. Like, when you meet someone who's just solid, they know who they are, and they know how to love people, and they do it in their way, and they don't need accolades for it. They just do that. And I think my dad would have seen that, understood that, sensed that. I think he would have loved her. So that's what I would want to do.
That's magnificent. Magnificent. Yes.
Well, thank you for that question. Oh my God. Oh boy. There are, of course, I'm going to note to myself a couple follow-up questions, but I'm going to save it for the next time that we can have a conversation. Yeah, because one, I know we have to wrap, but also
yes.
I think I know two very specific questions I will ask you the next time we get to chat.
Beautiful. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's been so awesome to sit with you for a little bit and begin to get to know you.
Yes. I'm excited. I'm excited for our friendship. I feel like this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. I really believe that.
I do too. Thank you so much. It just
Thank you.
This resonated so deeply, and I'm so grateful.
Until we meet again, I'll see you later.